Can you believe this guy? He says, seeing people in their teens and early 20s call me old at 27 is so funny to me because do you realize you only have 30 minutes left? See, these are the type of tweets that are funny on the surface, but if you actually think about it, it says a lot about how people see time right now. I mean, time is very scary of 2026, and 2016 didn't feel 10 years ago. If you also felt like it wasn't that long ago, let me know in the comment section below so I don't feel that crazy. And notice who this is aimed at. This isn't for 40-year-olds. This is aimed directly at teens and early 20s who think life is basically over once you hit your late 20s. Oh no, you turn to dust. You turn to a zombie once you turn 25. Nobody wants to date you anymore. You're either an old fucking lady or you're an old man. If I have not achieved what I want to achieve or become who I want to become by 25, I might as well just quit. Life is just gonna be a fucking bitch to me. I don't want this anymore. Boom. That's kind of drastic, but that's what it feels like when I read some of these people's tweets. And when you look at MetaMate Dawes' tweet got 47, close to 50k likes and 1,342 bookmarked it. That means it hit home right away. I get it, it's clever, it's sarcastic, but there's something underneath it that people don't question, and that's what I want to talk about. At this point, if you have your opinion on whether this tweet is right or wrong, let me know in the comment section below, and once you hear my video, let me know what your second opinion is. Did I change it, or do you still feel firm about it? Let's discuss in the comment section. Okay, and to be completely honest, at 19, I probably thought this too. At 19, I'm not gonna lie, I probably thought the exact same thing because genuinely, I remember believing that if you didn't figure your life out early, you're already behind. Something about the age 25, and then when you're 25 at 30, you're gonna feel the same way. I mean, when you're 25, you're gonna think that 30 is going to be your end date. That's when you expire. And it's the same flow, the same mentality. And people need to get the fuck out of that thing. It's going to ruin your life. I remember graduating high school and I told myself I'm going to try to become an actor or singer or something like that by the age of 25. But shit happens. I never pursued it. And the problem was because I thought I was too damn old. 25 felt like the cutoff date. But 25 could be your beginning date. You have to see it that way instead of, oh, this imaginary clock. All the people you see online are really young. All the people that you see online are aren't as old as you think. They just started a lot later and are going to be much more happier than you if you don't change your mindset. So when I see tweets like this, I think, okay, you're being stupid. But I don't always think they're being dumb. I look at it like, yeah, that's a bad mindset that I had at one point, and I get why they think that way. And it does make sense because they're probably, the person's 27. Most people are saying that this is true, that after 25, you're fucking dust. Is probably anywhere from, and you would think somewhere between 24 and 25, but not until you're actually 25 does the spell break. I remember when I was 25, I felt really destroyed because I thought shit was going to happen. Not until that point, even at 24, I thought, damn, this is it. This is the year. Even if I'm late, it's going to happen. And I swear, most 25-year-olds, the moment they turn 25, they think, I'm not like old, but like, okay, the main story is done and now it's just side quests. And a lot of people are not okay with that. And you could think about it that way if you want, because the main story is just the beginning. The side quests, you might learn way more about the character and actually have more fun than the story that you had might have been bullshit. Maybe the main story sucked and the side quest has all the writers who know how to write well. And that's the mentality that I ended up picking up. The side quest is everything. The main story was just some basic story for you to start leveling up and getting all the stuff you need. And sometimes you didn't even get the material you needed until the side. Maybe you were just some naked build who found themselves in a really terrible island and now they had to survive. And once they're at level 25, they think there's no more. I can't go further than this. You can level up. It's possible. Just get out there. And it's this fucking bullshit mentality because of social media, I think, that people think they're going to be rich or really buff or fit, famous, or locked in so much your path is basically made for you because you work so hard. And that's just not how fucking life is. It's a roller coaster. If you watched my last video, you know, if you want a situation to go well, you have to find the middle. Somewhere where it's not 100% going super what you thought, but also not as bad as you might think this nightmare might be. And now looking back at that moment, I think, what a wild time. But at the time, it felt completely normal to think that the world was ending, to think that because people online were achieving so much and I'm just watching them, this guy sitting on the bench at the bus hoping that their metaphorical bus comes and picks them up. But it never did. So what do you do now? That's the question. What you have to do is flip the perspective. You don't run out of time at 27. And the fact that people even believe that tells you how warped our sense of time has become. Somewhere along the way, age stopped being a neutral number and started feeling like a deadline. Like after the pandemic, everyone stopped for about 2 or 3 years. And people like this think if you don't hit a certain milestone by a certain year, something closes, something expires, something's gone forever. But that idea doesn't come from real life. It comes from comparisons and the pressure around the people that you meet and what you see on social media. It's all bullshit at the end of the day. It's just your mentality saying, this person made it at 23, this person made it at 19, this person made it at 32, and I was there and that never happened. So what actually happens around your late 20s isn't that time runs out. It's that illusion falls apart. It disappears. That weird noise saying, if you don't make it by this age, you're considered old forever. That's not true. Just keep pursuing the thing no matter what age you are. The thing in life is that you want to find happiness. The fantasy that everything will magically click without effort, without being uncomfortable, without mistakes. That's the shit that should end now. Don't believe that at all. And when that fantasy dies, people misinterpret this uneasiness, this discomfort as I'm running out of time. But discomfort isn't lost. It's how you know you're on the right path. If people truly ran out of time at 27, no one would change careers. No one would build themselves physically or mentally. No one would recover from bad decisions. But that's not what we see in real life. We see people starting businesses in their 30s, getting in shape in their 40s, finding direction after years of confusion. Time doesn't disappear. What disappears is the excuse that you're still too young to worry about shit. What people actually run out of isn't time. It's clarity. And clarity doesn't vanish because your age. It vanishes because you never slow down long enough to think. When you're constantly rushing, comparing yourself to others, and reacting to what everyone else is doing, your mind stays noisy, and a noisy mind can't choose a direction. When you don't slow down, every decision feels urgent. Everything feels like it could ruin your future. Not because the stakes are actually that high, but because you don't know where you're going. Without clarity, time feels like it's dwindling away. With even a rough direction, time feels spacious again. Some people don't even truly start until their late 20s, and that's not a failure. It's normal. Early 20s for experimentation. You try identities that don't fit. You chase goals that don't matter. You make mistakes you couldn't have avoided even if someone warned you. That phase feels unproductive only if you believe life is a race instead of a process. Starting doesn't mean having everything figured out. It means committing to something long enough for feedback to matter. That usually happens after people get tired of drifting. After they've failed enough times to know what doesn't matter, what doesn't work, after they stop romanticizing shortcuts and start respecting consistency, that shift rarely happens at 19. It happens when you lived a little. The panic people feel around age is all in your head. I know it sounds gaslighty, but it truly is. It's manufactured by social media, all the bullshit you see online, algorithms and likes and bookmarks and all that shit, and it's constant exposure to extreme outcomes. You're not comparing yourself to reality. You're comparing yourself to the top 1% of visible, successful stories. And when rare outcomes are treated like the standard, average progress feels like a failure. That panic doesn't help you move faster. It makes you rush into bad decisions, abandon things too early, or freeze entirely. Artificial urgency creates motion without progress. It keeps you busy, anxious, and unfocused, which is the opposite of what actually builds a life. The real clock isn't age. It's attention. What you give your attention to everyday compounds over time, whether you're aware of it or you're not. Two people can be the same age and live completely different lives because one protected their attention and the other scattered it everywhere. Age is passive. Attention is what's happening right now while you're focusing. Age is something that happens to you. Attention is something that you choose. When your attention is fragmented, time feels like it's slipping away. When your attention is focused, time feels abundant. Once you understand that, age loses its power over you. You stop panicking about numbers and you stop caring about what's going into your mind and how that affects your brain. And when the inputs are right, time stops feeling like an enemy and starts feeling like the ally that you need in your life. To save you, you need that hero. And once you understand that, age loses its power over you. You stop panicking about numbers and you start caring about what you're actually doing in your life. And when the things that you're doing in life are right, the time stops feeling like an enemy and starts feeling like something that's working with you instead of against you. Alright, let me talk to you. If you're between 18 and 22 watching this, the first thing I want you to do is relax. Not in a dismissive way where you're too young, so just sit down and not do anything. I mean, genuinely, breathe for a second. You're not late. You're not behind. You're not supposed to have your life mapped out yet. No matter how convincing the internet makes it seem, failure at this stage isn't going to ruin the rest of your life. The real problem is that uncertainty doesn't feel neutral anymore. It feels like a failure. And that's because you're consistently being shown examples of people who look like they're already made it. Your brain starts telling you a story. If other people your age have it figured out and you don't, then something must be wrong with you. But that conclusion is built on a lie, or at least a very incomplete picture. Just seeing all those people with the mansions and the Ferraris and the hot girls, all that will come to you if you want to, but you gotta work hard first. That's what really matters right now. If you think something's wrong with you because you're their age and nothing worked out for you, that conclusion is built on a lie, or at least a very incomplete picture of what you think life should be like. You're not behind. You're just early and confused, and that confusion is normal. You don't yet have enough experience to know what you want long term, and that is okay. Most clarity comes after you do trial and error things. You can't reason your way into certainty without living through some uncertainty first. But the internet flips that order and makes it seem like you're supposed to be confident before you've actually done anything. If you think confidence is something you were born with, that's not true. Confidence is something that you gain by doing over and over again the things you don't want to do. A big reason why this pressure feels so intense is because everyone online is lying about their timeline. They're not always doing it intentionally, but they're skipping chapters. You don't see the years of doubt, the false starts, the boredom, the quiet failures that nobody wants to tell you that are kind of embarrassing. You see the moment where everything finally works, framed as if it was smooth and happened very quickly, but that's not what actually happened. That creates the illusion that success is linear and early, when in reality, it's really messy, and it's usually not the time that you think it is, it's delayed. When you compare your real messy life to someone's edited version, time starts feeling short. Every year feels like a deadline instead of a process. And that's where the anxiety comes from. Not from your actual situation, but from the story you're telling yourself about where you should be. The truth is, progress compounds when pressure drops. When you stop panicking, you make better decisions. You stick with things longer. You stop jumping from path to path trying to catch up. Pressure feels productive, but it usually leads to burnout, not growth. Calm consistency is what actually builds momentum. Most people think they need urgency to succeed, but urgency without direction will just leave you in a circle and you won't find the exit ever. So when you're relaxed enough to think clearly, you can actually choose what's worth committing to. And once you choose something and give it time, progress starts stacking in ways you can't even see immediately. But that's what compounding is. Not just financially, but mentally and emotionally too. You'll get true freedom from all that. Time only feels short when you don't know where you're going. When there's no direction, every movement feels wasted because there's nothing connecting one day to the next. But once you have enough, even a rough sense of direction, time stops feeling like it's running out. It starts feeling like something you're using. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to have it all figured out. You need a direction that feels honest enough to commit to right now. That's how clarity is built, not through pressure, but through patience. So if you're young and feeling behind, understand this. You're not late to life. You're early in the process. And the confusion you're feeling isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're still learning. Giving yourself permission to be where you are, and the timeline will stop feeling so damn fucking hostile. This is actually what I've been spending my time with, breaking down mindsets and direction lately, because most people don't need more motivation. They're already motivated, or they don't know that they don't need motivation. But either way, most people are just anxious. They're overwhelmed. They feel like they're running out of time and they don't know why. Motivation just adds bullshit to that thinking, and they really want clarity. So if clarity is what you need, then you have to create a life plan, and I can help you with that. Just fill out the form on top with the Google Doc for now, and then we'll talk soon. Peace.